Hey y'all, I'm gonna hey y'all, I'm gonna continue reading from my book. Living in a small town in rural America. John W. Dodds. Growth and change typify the urban areas of America throughout the first decade of the 20th century, but urban life was not the norm for most Americans. More Americans still lived on farms or in small towns than in big cities. According to John W. Dodds, author and longtime academic at Stanford University in Palo Alto, California, Americans thrived in smaller towns. Dodds describes a routine and pace of life infinitely simpler than that of today. Small town America, Dodds argues, moved in the regular channels of its own insularity and was able to see the world in comfortable terms of black and white. Life on the farm in the first year of the 20th century was more like 1860 than 1940. In the first place, the majority of the people lived there. The population of the United States in 1901 was I might be butchering this number, so forgive me. 77 million 5,085,000, and of this 60% was rural. The rhythms of daily life set by the sun had changed very little over the years. Whether in the larger spaces of the Great Plains or on the smaller farms of the East and South, horsepower and manpower were still the units of energy for the spring planting of the crops, the summer cultivating, the autumn harvesting, and for a multitude of other daily duties. Some reaping of grain was still done by hand with the scythe or cradle, though the horse-drawn McCormick reaper had changed all this in most communities. The cows were milked by hand, and the milk was put in large pans and placed in a cool structure. Sometimes the structure was called a milk house, but if it could be located over or alongside a spring, it was a spring house. There the cream would rise to the surface to be skimmed and churned. For all farmers made their own butter, or rather their wives and children did. Sometimes the more mechanically minded had a dog-powered churn, turned by a set of gears activated by a dog walking on a treadmill. Farm families baked their own bread and of course raised their own fruits and vegetables and slaughtered their own meat. The occasional Saturday trips to the nearest general store were to get such staples as flour, navy beans, white kidney beans, molasses, oatmeal, and for the winter diet, dried prunes or peaches. And some for the children, candy, jawbreakers, or a long belt like strips of licorice. Farmers had to be largely self-sufficient. Even as late as 1955, they had an average annual family income from the farms themselves of less than $1,000. In 1900, it would have been less than half of that. Damn. People on the farms then lived much like their fathers and grandfathers before them. They rose before dawn most of the year and went to bed at night by kerosene lights and cooked their meals on wood or coal stoves. There was no plumbing. They drew water from springs or wells, bathed in a washtub in the kitchen, and made treks to an outhouse which could hardly be called a sanitary convenience. The roads connecting the scattered villages and farms were drifted with snow in the winter, bogged with mud in the spring, and deep with dust in the summer. Children walked to a one-room country schoolhouse, where the teacher, as she represented the national norm, received an annual salary of $325. Children had their own delights, of course, picking chestnuts or hunting in the woods on crisp October mornings fishing and swimming in nearby creeks, gathering wild blackberries and blueberries, finding the first trailing arbutus. I think that's how you say it. Under the snow in the early spring, listening to sleigh bells on a tingling winter night. Please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'm still selling stuff on eBay and books on First Books. And comment down below if you want to know my username for both of those things, okay? To look me up, okay? And if you're on TikTok, please like and follow me, okay? Bye.